Good morning, friends. Welcome to day 10 and good Monday morning to you, or Easter Monday. And you may have had a busy weekend. Family, all sorts of extra activity, really good food, and you might be a little bit tired out today or feel a little sluggish. So that's why I decided we are going to do some active stretch today and mixed with a little bit of balance. We're going to move our whole body from head to toe. So let's find that standing position, your mountain pose, finding those hip bones, getting those knees and ankles in alignment with that. Let's begin by taking some shoulder rolls, resting the shoulders then on the back of the lungs. Let's check our head position. Remember, most of us have forward head from looking down at our phones. So take your finger, trace down. If your finger comes in front of your shoulder, you need to draw that head back, giving yourself that double chin and getting that head lined up. So while we're here, let's begin with a few breaths. You're nice and rooted and grounded. I'd like you to close your eyes, lift up the 10 toes, and begin with some balanced breath, breathing in and out through your nose. We're grounded on both feet and we're rooted, but with our eyes closed, we're also getting some balance work. You may notice yourself moving a little bit because we've taken our eyes out of the equation to help us balance. So this is good for all those little stabilizer muscles. And remember, feel that breath, breathe it into the diaphragm, filling the belly, gently exhaling out. You can now set those toes down. Let's blink open our eyes and bring our hands to our belly and our heart one more time. And breathe in through your nose, expanding that diaphragm. Exhaling, drawing it back. Let's release our hands. Let's bring some movement, working those shoulders a little bit. Let's sweep up those arms. Nice breath in. Exhale those hands to heart center. Breathing in, nice full breath in. Interlace those fingers. Let's do that banana pose. Plant through that left foot, hinge on over to the right. Stretching out all through that left side body. Inhale, breathe it up. Plant through your right foot and hinge on over to the other side, feeling that good stretch all the way up. Inhale, breathe it back to center. You can take your hands down this time and put them on your low back. From here, we're just going to get a little standing back bend, taking our gaze up and back. Hinging back as far as is comfortable for you. And let's do a little forward fold. You can either use your chair out front and extend over that. Otherwise, let's breathe up those arms and then lead with that chest, forward fold. You're pushing that bum back towards the wall behind you, keeping that spine nice and long. You're really getting a nice stretch in that low back. If you're using a chair, your hands can come down to the chair, feeling that weight in those heels. And then slowly and gently, if you're able, sinking all the way down. You can grab opposing elbows, so we call this ragdoll, and start moving that spine side to side, getting some good movement. Remember, you still have to be breathing down here. Whenever you're ready, bring your hands to your shins, lift up halfway for that good intake of air, and then exhale, sink it back down. Inhale, breathe those arms up with you to standing. Let's come back on up and exhale those hands to heart center. If you do have your chair available, maybe bring it into the side. Let's work those feet a little bit. Let's come up on those toes, really pushing the ball of the foot into the ground. And then exhale, dropping down, come rolling back on the heels, stretching out the back of that calf as you lift up those toes, and breathe it back and forth with your own breath. As you exhale, sink down, inhale, lifting up the toes, just connecting that breath to that movement. Beautiful. Then let's do that little bit where we are going to push the 10 toes into the ground, lifting up the big toes. I always feel like my left toes want to come up with my big toe. So now sink those big toes down, lift up the other 9 toe or the other 8 toes, and then work those back and forth, bringing that movement to the feet. Up and down. Really challenges those feet a little bit. One more. And then set everything down. Shake everything out. And then from here, if you do have your chair available, bring it to the front and bring your right leg up onto the chair. Let's just do a stretch, keeping that left heel down and back. You're really stretching out that left thigh as you do this, sinking forward onto your chair, and then making sure that left heel is staying down and flat. Let's just move it a couple times. Remember, we're just bringing some active stretch to the body today. Bringing a little life to it. Bring it back up and switch. Bring that left foot onto the chair. Now, if this is too high for you and you aren't able to access this, if you have a low chair or a little step footstool, you could put your foot onto that footstool. Just raising it up even a few inches gets you a different stretch in that back leg that is back. Remember, right heel down to the ground, just moving it backwards and forwards. Then from here, let's get a little rotation to our hips. So I'm going to bring my chair to the left side, planted on my left foot, lifting up that right knee, and then taking some circles out to the side. Ever widening, trying to keep that hip bone facing forward, but just getting some mobility and some movement in that hip. Good. Set that down if you need to. Switch your chair to the other side. Balanced on that right leg now. And start taking some circles on that left leg. I put my hand on that hip bone to make sure that I'm not kicking that hip up and out. I'm keeping it forward and in an aligned position with the other hip on the other side. So that I'm really working the joint, moving it out to the side. Your hips are, your hips keep you walking, moving, running, jumping, but they move side to side as well as forward and back for walking. So we have to move them in all directions. Since this is active, let's take your chair out in front of you. Let's come to that wide-legged squat, tucking our tail under and just dropping up and down. With your breath. We're not going to hold. We're not trying to build strength here, but we're just trying to work the fascia a little bit, waking it up on a Monday, getting it going. Make sure your knees are trying to track to the wall behind you. You can even put your hands there if that helps with that motion, but go down as far as is comfortable. This is just a little active stretch today. Then, whenever you're ready, let's sweep up those arms. Let's bring our left arm up and over. Just getting that side body stretch in again. Left hand comes down to the waist. Right arm sweeps up and over, stretches across. Breathe that back down. Let's interlace those hands behind us. Let's lift those arms off the back. Keep breathing, keep lifting as far as is comfortable. Float those arms down, and let's come back to our chair and just wrap things up. 10 minutes flies by. These are all stretches you could stop and do any time in your day. So let's sweep up those arms, interlacing those fingers, bringing them around that right knee, hugging it into the chest. If you sit and work at a computer during the day, take this 10-minute break, bring it down around that left knee, hug it in, and just stop and get some movement around your desk or your chair. It'll get that blood flowing, it'll help you think better, it'll just stretch everything out, and then you'll be more invigorated to complete that work. From here, let's finish with one last thing, sitting forward on your chair, knees out in front of you, hinge at your hips, and just forward fold in your chair, bringing your arms down to your knees, and then if you're comfortable, bringing that chest all the way down, resting, chest resting on those thighs, and sink down a little bit here. Don't forget that breath. Breathe it in, exhale out, fill it all up. Whenever you're ready, you can lift it on up, and that's 10 minutes. So I hope you have a wonderful Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow.